Hi, James here from Adventure Bike Rider, and welcome to this countdown of 2022's best adventure and touring bikes. We picked 11 of the motorcycles we're most excited to ride this year. Some we've tested already, others we can't wait to swing our legs over. Now, if you'd like a more detailed discussion about the bikes, make sure you tune in to the latest episode of the ABR Garage Video podcast, which you can find through a link below this video. But for now, please do subscribe to the channel, and let's get stuck into these new bikes.
It's a Tiger by name, but it's not an adventure bike. Instead, Triumph's new mid-capacity machine is a road-focused adventure sports tourer. It's designed to perform on a daily commute, during weekends away, and on the occasional summer tour. So what do we know about the new machine? For starters, it's powered by a 660cc triple-cylinder engine, which makes 80 brake horsepower and 64 Nm of torque. It features Showa upside-down forks, dual disc Nissin brakes up front, and a 17-litre fuel tank, which will be good for around 200 miles between fill-ups. Electronic aids include 2 rider modes, road and rain, and switchable traction control. There's also a mini TFT screen that can be connected to your phone to show turn-by-turn directions. The bike weighs in at 206 kilograms wet, and with an approachable seat height of 835mm, it's clear the bike is well suited for someone looking for their first big motorcycle, or perhaps a rider who wants to take a step down from a larger machine. Whether the sporty Tiger can tempt buyers away from the likes of the Yamaha Tracer 7 or Kawasaki's Versys 650, only time will tell, but it looks like a contender. Okay, so Ducati hasn't reinvented the wheel with its new for 2022 Multistrada V2. In fact, the bike is basically last year's Multistrada 950 with a few updates, but that's no bad thing because the 950 was an excellent motorcycle. The V2 is powered by the same 937cc Testa Stretta engine, albeit a tweaked version that now makes 113 brake horsepower compared to the 110 of last year's model. The 2022 bike is also 5 kilograms lighter than its predecessor, weighing in at 199 kilograms dry. Some 2 kilograms have been shaved off the engine, with the rest coming from various lighter pieces of trim, such as new mirrors and wheel rims. This weight saving, combined with a 10mm lower seat height, taking it down to 790mm at its lowest setting, along with efforts to make that seat more comfortable, are all part of Ducati's plan to make the V2 more approachable and easier to live with. Indeed, the bike is marketed as your everyday wonder, a machine for daily use. There's even an A2 license compatible version available. But I've always seen the Multistrada as a touring bike, and the V2 looks like it would be a cracking machine to hit the open road on. There's plenty of power and weather protection for easy cruising, and being a Multistrada, it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun to ride in the twisties too. There's also a lot of technology on offer to enhance your ride, including 4 rider modes, a 5-inch TFT display, cornering ABS, hill-ho control, and traction control. If you like your motorcycle touring to come with a huge slab of nostalgia and retro cool, then BMW's R18 Transcontinental could be the bike for you. And while it's not the usual style of motorcycle we'd have in the Adventure Bike Rider garage, any bike that's been designed to take you on tour is ripe for adventure in our book. While the standard R18 has been around for a while now, the new Transcontinental model sees the addition of a luxurious pillion seat and backrest. It's a machine that oozes cruiser cool. Just looking at it makes me want to throw on a leather jacket and ride coast to coast across America. Propelling you and the 398 kilograms of metal along will be the R18's 1802cc Boxer engine, which produces 91 brake horsepower and 158 Nm of torque at just 3,000 RPM. It's a beast of an engine that we rode during the bike's press launch in Germany, and once we got to grips with the sheer size of the thing, we enjoyed every moment. Sure, agility in the twisties isn't its strong point, but sit back, relax and revel in the throb of that Boxer engine as you cruise down a highway, and you'll be a very happy biker indeed. And while this may look like a retro cruiser, there's plenty of technology on board to keep you entertained and safe. So, as you're blasting out the Rolling Stones through the onboard Marshall sound system and navigating the enormous 10.5-inch TFT display, the bike's automatic stability control will be helping you, and all that weight, stay upright. And the active cruise control will be helping you relax and take in the scenery. Enjoy. Moto Morini is an historic Italian brand formed back in 1937, which is now wholly owned by the Zhongqing Vehicle Group based in China. But while the Escape is a Chinese-built bike, it was designed in Italy. And boy, those Italian designers have come up with something special. The thoroughly gorgeous-looking Escape immediately set pulses racing in the ABR office, and I suspect throughout the land, when photos were released of its sharp and sleek styling earlier this year. It's the company's first stab at making an adventure bike, and it should be applauded for producing a motorcycle that is arguably far better looking than many of the existing players on the market. Rather than developing its own engine, Moto Morini turned to Kawasaki's ER6 649cc liquid-cooled parallel twin, which produces 60 brake horsepower and 56 Nm of torque. It's a cracking choice for a mid-sized machine, providing plenty of usable power when we rode it last year, whether we were on motorways or hustling through the twisties. At £6,999, the Escape is pretty well spec'd for a bike at this price point. With Brembo brakes, switchable Bosch ABS, Marzocchi suspension, 2 rider modes, road and off-road. Did I mention those good looks? It weighs in at 213 kilograms dry, features an 18-litre fuel tank and has a seat height of 845mm with a lower 820mm option available. The bike we test rode at the press launch in Sardinia a few months ago certainly impressed, despite a few teething issues with prototype models. And while the bike has been aimed predominantly for road use, it was pretty handy on the trails too. Aprilia admits it's gone for function over form with the Tuareg 660. And while I quite like its rugged styling, it's certainly not as easy on the eye as the likes as the Moto Morini or Ducati Multistrada V2. But unlike those motorcycles, this is an adventure bike designed for people with genuine ambitions to ride off-road. A fact highlighted by the presence of 21 and 18-inch spoke wheels, as well as a generous 240mm worth of suspension at both ends. When we hit the trails at the bike's press launch in Sardinia, it excelled, proving light, agile and incredibly well balanced. Impressively, the Tuareg was also very capable on the blacktop. Its 659cc parallel twin engine packing a real punch, making 80 brake horsepower and 70 Nm of torque. This resulted in relaxed highway cruising before we hit the twisties, when the Tuareg revealed itself to be an absolute hooligan. Trust me when I say this is a machine you can't help but have fun on. Aprilia's new bike has drawn obvious comparisons to the Yamaha Tenere 700 due to their similar engine sizes and looks. But while Yamaha took a bare-bones approach to technology, Aprilia has embraced it, packing its new machine with a host of rider aids, including 4 rider modes, 5 levels of traction control and adjustable engine braking. There's even cruise control as standard for your ride home from the trails. As a package, it's nothing short of sensational. BMW has upgraded the K1600 for 2022 in a bid to bring even more grandiose comfort to its luxury touring range, which was beginning to look somewhat outdated. So, for the new year, there are 4 models of the bike to choose from, featuring differing styles, luggage options and long-distance luxuries. This includes an onboard sound system, and trust me, if you've never experienced the joy of belting out Bruce Springsteen on the M5, give it a try. The model that most caught our eye is the top-of-the-range Grand America, which looks to rival the Honda Goldwing as the pinnacle of 2-up luxury long-distance cruising. For those of us who tour regularly with a pillion, you'll know that comfort is just as, if not more important than yours. So, let your better half relax in throne-like comfort on the K1600's pillion seat that features a large backrest and heated seat. Elsewhere, you'll get all the luxuries you'd expect from a bike costing upwards of £24,000. This includes a mammoth 10.25-inch TFT display, reverse gear, keyless ride, electronic suspension, an adaptive headlight, a sound system. The list goes on. Shifting the Grand America's 367 kilograms along the road is a 1649cc 6-cylinder engine that makes 160 brake horsepower and 180 newton meters of torque. It features a shaft drive, so you won't have to mess around maintaining a chain on your next cross-continental adventure. If you and your pillion want to be in the lap of luxury during your next motorcycle journey, the K1600 Grand America is certainly worth a test ride. When I was at the press launch of the GSX-S1000GT in Scotland, Suzuki made a point of stressing its new bike is a traditional sports tourer. I don't recall the word adventure coming up once during the presentation, which is unusual considering the marketing power of the word in the motorcycling world. Well, I certainly had an adventure on the S1000GT during a 2-day ride which highlighted what a capable machine Suzuki has made. The bike was not only thrilling to ride, but it was also very comfortable. In fact, I can think of nothing I'd like better to do right now than pack up the spacious colour-matched luggage and head off on tour to Spain for a couple of weeks. And throughout, I would be basking in the joy of riding the GT's silky smooth 999cc 4-cylinder engine, which packs 150 brake horsepower worth of pure motorcycling joy. The bike is effortlessly quick, its handling is agile yet predictable, and the bike holds a line as if it was glued to the road. And while it's not overloaded with technology, you will find a 6.5-inch TFT display, a quick shifter, cruise control, and a selection of rider modes. Now, I admit I'm an adventure biker through and through, but after spending 2 days riding the GT, even I was trying to figure out if I could find a spot in my garage for this thrilling traditional sports tourer. If you've always fancied an Africa Twin, but you have no ambitions to ride off-road, then get yourself down to your local Honda dealership and test ride the NT1100. Now, this is because, at its most basic, the new tourer from the Japanese manufacturer is pretty much an Africa Twin on 17-inch wheels. Okay, so there's more to it than that, but the bikes do have a huge amount in common. This includes that wonderfully tractable 1844cc engine, which makes 100 brake horsepower, along with the Africa Twin's superbly balanced and agile frame and its dual-screen TFT LCD display and rather complicated switchgear, among plenty of other components. The fact Honda has chosen to base a road tourer on its big adventure bike should come as no surprise. The current incarnation of the Africa Twin is an excellent mile-munching machine. It'll cruise at motorway speeds for hours on ends before carving along mountain passes. The NT1100 builds on this with a redesigned fairing and a huge screen for better weather protection. It also boasts immaculate detailing, smooth lines and seamless engineering that makes the bike feel every bit the high-end sports tourer. Honda has also included a set of colour-matched panniers that come as standard. And while the overall styling might not be as pleasing to the eye as the adventure bike the NT1100 is based on, after riding it at its press launch in Spain, we can tell you this is a bike that feels positively glued to the road. It'll cover long distances effortlessly, morning, noon and night, but the only question you need to ask yourself is how far do you want to travel? If you're in the market for a mid-sized adventure bike, you're currently spoilt for choice. Well, your decision just got harder with the release of the Husqvarna Norden 901, a machine designed for globe-trotting exploits as well as Sunday rides. Although the bike is based heavily on the excellent KTM 890 Adventure, KTM and Husky are owned by the same company, its press launch in the Azores revealed this is very much a bike in its own right. The Norden does, however, use the same 889cc parallel twin engine found in the KTM, which produces 105 brake horsepower and 100 Newton meters of torque. It comes with spoked 21 and 18-inch wheels, as well as Apex suspension with 220mm of travel at the front and 215 at the rear. Like the KTM, it also features a saddlebag-style fuel tank design to keep the weight lower down on the bike, although the Norden 901 has a more substantial fairing to offer better weather protection. Husqvarna was clear that it intended to create a bike that is designed for long-distance travel. And after riding the Norden at its press launch, we reckon it's a job well done. Although the standing position did thrust us a little further forward than we would have liked off-road. Despite this, the Norden is a proper all-rounder that's just at home covering long distances on continental road tours, as it is carving along mountain passes and ripping up the trails when you reach your destination. The 19-litre fuel tank will take you around 250 miles between fill-ups, and the bike comes equipped with all the technology you'd expect to find on something costing upwards of £12,000. This includes a TFT dash, 3 rider modes, traction control and cornering ABS. Triumph has completely overhauled the Tiger 1200 for 2022 in an attempt to rival the mighty BMW R 1250 GS at the top of the big adventure bike sales charts. And it's about time. Although we have a soft spot for the long-distance comfort of the previous Tiger 1200 model, it was a big, top-heavy beast that was in desperate need of an update. So what do we know about the new bike? Well, it's going to be shaft-driven and will feature a new 1160cc, 148 brake horsepower triple engine with a T-plane crank, similar to that found in the Tiger 900 series. Now, the aim of this T-plane design is to give the engine the low-end grunt and tractability of a twin without compromising on the smooth characteristics of a triple. This being Triumph, there are actually 5 different versions of the Tiger 1200 available, and while I won't go into all the details here, the cliff notes are this. You'll be able to choose from 3 road-focused versions and 2 off-road bias models. This includes a rugged-looking Tiger 1200 Rally Explorer, which boasts a whopping 30-litre fuel tank and a 21-inch front wheel, which is sure to give prospective GS buyers food for thought. The bike also features Brembo brakes, cornering ABS, traction control, Showa semi-active suspension, a blind spot radar system, keyless ignition and heated grips and seats. It's clear Triumph is serious about creating the ultimate big adventure bike, and we can't wait to test ride it very soon. The bike the ABR team are most looking forward to riding in 2022 is the Ducati Desert X, and boy does it look the part. The Desert X would fit perfectly into a grainy Dakar highlights reel from the 80s, shot from a helicopter, with styling that pays homage to the rally racing bikes of old. Plenty of manufacturers have adopted the Dakar heritage look in recent times, but Ducati has raised the bar here. The Desert X is fitted with the same 937cc water-cooled Testostrata engine you'll find in the Multistrada V2. However, it's been detuned slightly for more manageable off-road performance, producing 110 brake horsepower and 92 Nm of torque at 6,500 RPM. The off-road focus doesn't stop there. There are 21-inch front and 18-inch rear tyres clad in knobbly Pirelli rubber. And there's also off-road focused Kayaba suspension that provides 200mm worth of travel at the front and 220mm at the rear. Ground clearance is a lofty 250mm, resulting in a pretty tall seat height of 875mm. But Ducati says the saddle has been designed to taper at the tank, allowing those with shorter inner legs to reach the floor. We'll have to check it out. The bike weighs in at 202 kilograms dry, putting it in the same ballpark as rivals such as the KTM 890 Adventure and the BMW F850 GS. Hauling everything to a stop are twin-disc Brembos up front and a single-disc twin-piston caliper at the rear. Ducati's original prototype bike showed the Desert X with a 30-litre rally-style dual fuel tank. Now that's gone on the production model, replaced with a 21-litre tank instead. However, as a compromise, Ducati is offering the option of an additional 8-litre tank at the rear, providing continent-conquering range should you want it. But don't be fooled into thinking this is a stripped-back bike solely focused on dune bashing. There's also a host of technology that you'd expect to find on a motorcycle costing close to £14,000. This includes a 5-inch TFT display, 6 rider modes, including Enduro and Rally, full LED lighting, cornering ABS, wheelie control, a quick shifter, all as standard. The Desert X will be dropping in showrooms from May 2022, with prices starting at £13,795. And the good news is Ducati will be bringing its test fleet of Desert X's to the magnificent grounds of the Ragley Hall estate on the 24th to the 26th of June for the 2022 Adventure Bike Rider Festival, giving you the chance to ride it. To get your tickets, head over to www.abrfestival.com or hit the link below this video.
And that wraps up our countdown of 2022's top new adventure and touring bikes. Please do subscribe to the channel and let us know in the comments section if there's any motorcycles you think should have been on our list.